I really like functional songs that have a purpose, and a lot of songs are transformative lyrically, where someone will start very low and end with like a resolution or even a glimmer of hope in the darkest corner. So that's what, if I had a thesis for this band, that's what it would be: overcoming just anything. And so there's a lot lyrically. That's a huge focal point. Hey, this is Adam from Murder by Death, and this is Zero Platoon.
Platoon!
I got the bends, I got the shakes, it never rains.
My friend's mom bought me a guitar. Well, actually, she bought a guitar at a garage sale for $20, and her son didn't want it. And she said, "Hey, you seem like you might be into this." I was maybe 14, and it was just like a beat-up, no-name acoustic guitar. And I bought it from her for $20, and I just started playing because my buddy Ben had just gotten a guitar, and I thought, oh, this would be something we could just play together. And everything kind of just happened after that. It's been a slow development for this group over the last 16 years, but it's been it started happening. I mean, we hit the road by the time I was 19, 20. So part of the reason that we're still able to be around is that we were never just like being a genre band, and that I think that that can really help you in a band by fitting in. But I think it's also what allows us to still be able to play songs that we wrote when we were essentially teenagers. That they're just the songs that we wanted to write. They weren't us trying to copy someone else's thing that was popular at the moment. And so some of those songs, some more than others, still stand out because they're ours. And so it's nice to be able to reflect on some stuff that I was a kid with, that I wrote, and not feel too embarrassed about it. The hardest part about trying to write new songs versus when I first started writing was that I had nothing to hold it up against back then. I would just start writing, and I was trying to come up with anything to write about. I remember the challenge of just saying, what do you even write songs about? Because I don't want to just write like love songs or whatever. And that's been, as we now have many, many albums, I want to stay true to the group and to the ideas and style of the group without trying to, I don't want to repeat myself too much, but I also don't want to go like too far out there. It's not like I'm going to write a rap album or something, but trying to explore new ideas, but through a filter that we created is the way I think about it. Send Me Home is, I wrote it based on a conversation I had with my mother about my grandfather in his last months. As he was fading, he would actually express to my mother how there would be people that were dead in the room with him that would talk to him. And so I took just little phrases from a conversation I had with my mom and that just sort of moved me. And right after our conversations, I pretty much had the whole song, and it was just there. Between having a personal connection to it and just thinking that it was interesting, the stuff that she was telling me, suddenly I knew I had a song. It's probably the best thing to do with that information. Hey, this is Adam from Murder by Death, and this song's called Send Me Home. Rooms full of spirits surround me. They're as real as they can be. Every morning I plant my shaky feet on earth so hard and mean. And his broken systems fail. They care for me to no avail. No reward, no, it's not bad. And I'd be on my way if I wasn't so damn scared. Oh, will you send me home? Will you send me home? I can't go, but I can't go on. I wanna stay, but I ain't got long. Will you send me home?
crack me open, wish me well. Put me in a simple box in a patch of dirt. Send me on a greener pastures or worse. Whatever comes, it's mine and mine alone. And if I have to ask you, will you send me home? Oh, will you send me home? Will you send me home? I can't go, but I can go on. I wanna stay, but I ain't got long. Will you send me home? 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 Time to move on.
For me, any of my social anxiety, I just talk a lot. I just try to cover up, fill in time, stay busy. You know, for me, staying active is my ward against all fear. I just stay. I have a ton of projects, whether it's writing songs and touring or helping with the band's financial or creative elements of like t-shirt designs or whatever, or if I built a cabin, or like recently I just was bored and I woke up and built a woodshed, and like I do things to sort of stave off bad feelings. And I'm starting to realize that more as I get older, that so much of my life has been spent sort of doing that, like kind of chasing away darkness. I think it's a positive thing to do, just to be productive, and because it just makes you feel like that your time is well spent and tangible. And it might be false, it might be a distraction, but if it works, and you still have something to show for it. I really like functional songs that have a purpose, and a lot of songs are transformative lyrically, where someone will start very low and end with like a resolution or even a glimmer of hope in the darkest corner. So that's a huge. That's what, if I had a thesis for this band, that's what it would be: overcoming just anything. And so there's a lot lyrically. That's a huge focal point.
Sadness fills the air. Now your tenure is done. Oh, you're a solitary one.
I think it was the day that Robin Williams had died. And we were just sort of, I think that was just on our minds, and it was just the idea of that sort of the isolation of a person who's surrounded by other people, but still, feeling very alone. And I think it's a feeling that everybody has. It's just a question of how much you feel it and how often you feel it. And so, yeah, I think I was trying to get in touch with that. Feeling of being alone in a crowded room.
No, I just don't wanna be another chore. No, some wounded birds I care for. And I wrote a job for you. That's the last thing. That's the last thing. That's the last thing I wanna do.
That song's kind of about, from the perspective of a person who feels like a burden. And so I was thinking about caretaking, and how a lot of people my age are either dealing with caring for their parents who are elderly, or getting elderly, or their parents are dealing with that. And so a lot of times just care of family can be such an enormous burden and weight for people, but it's more from the perspective of the person who's being cared for, but who needs to be cared for, and so it's about sort of just trying to stay out of the way almost, and so yeah, it's another sort of internal song about like, I guess it's funny, you're making me realize how linked a lot of these songs are, but yeah, about trying to sort of feel okay with your place. When I was younger, I used to listen to like sad stuff when I felt sad, and now I don't put on music with my moods. I go do something. I don't use music. I think because it's what I do for a living, I don't use music as a salve or anything. Though most people I know do. I will write music if I'm feeling in a certain way, and I'll try to harness that feeling and make something out of it. But I do definitely use like other media. Like if I want to be calmed, I read. If I want to, if I'm just like despondent from being exhausted on tour or travel or something, I just put on like a comedy movie. And I did recently make for tour. I made like a super happy mixtape, or I guess it's like on Spotify, but it's just the idea of like 30 songs that just make me feel pretty damn good. So I have 2 hours of just sort of like fun, goofy songs that if I need it, I can listen to it. The first song is the one that made me think of the mix. Is Steve Harley from Cockney Rebels, which is like a glam rock band from the 70s. That's the song "Come Up and See Me," "Make Me Smile." It's actually the last song I think on the Velvet Goldmine soundtrack, but just like one of the most fun, upbeat songs. It's all kind of older stuff, but I mean, then there's like a couple like classics like Dire Straits' "Walk of Life." I just love the melody in that song, and just like kind of goofy songs. "Love Cats" by The Cure, which is one of the silliest songs I've ever heard, and I love it. I like those like deliriously happy songs. Bjork, "It's Oh So Quiet." Yeah, it's a fun mix.
I got the bends, I got the shakes, it never ends, it always aches.
I was experiencing a lot of like panic and anxiety about every decision I'd ever made when I was trying to go to bed. And I noticed like in the morning
I wasn't supposed to be a musician. Certainly wasn't supposed to be a punk musician with tattoos and stuff, you know. And I chose to be this and worked really hard at making it happen.